Okay, so as they said, I am Nick. I lead digital product for Life.Church. This is Cody. He leads one of the engineering teams on our team, and we are both pastors at Life.Church. Okay, so we are excited to share with you guys today about some of the innovative ways that we're using Magnolia to serve our attenders. But what I hope you walk away with, if anything, is that it is always about the person that's on the receiving side of the screen. Everything we do is how do we serve that person in whichever way, whether it's us in the church context, are we leading them further in their faith? Or you guys, in a business sense, that might be, how are we serving them with a good or a service or something that they, right? Okay, so to start, I'm going to try and contextualize a little bit our church, who we are as an organization, what we're about, and then what are some of the circumstances that we found ourselves in that led us to the solution. So then Cody is going to take over and share you guys a little more about. All right. Okay, so who are we? We are a church of 45 different locations across 12 states, okay? But a better way to say it is we're one church, multiple locations. Every church serves a unique community, a unique local context, but from a central standpoint, we have one senior pastor and one message that goes out to all those churches. However, all those churches are in various places that have different needs. So we have to figure out how do we connect with those people in those locales, right? Okay. So our senior pastor, Pastor Craig Rochelle, he founded this church in 1996 out of a 2-car garage in the center of the country in Oklahoma. Okay. And when he founded it, and still today, our mission is core, and it is to lead people to become fully devoted followers of Christ. That's what we do. We wake up every day, service of technology, meeting a person where they're at, serving them in a need, helping their family. It is all to help lead them to become more fully devoted followers of Jesus. So that was true then, and it's true now. Now, this is the centralized model that we operate out of today. When we started, we had a couple of campuses, and the staff at each of those campuses had to be really scrappy. They just had to figure out how do they do technology, how do they do HR, how do they do finance, all that. But today, with the scale that we've encountered, the growth that we've encountered, we've had to figure out how to scale. And so we have centralized a lot of the distributable functions, such as HR, such as finance, such as technology, so that the pastors at the campus can focus on the person, right? Okay. So every week, we get a chance to serve millions of people, both physically and digitally. And at Life.Church Online, which you see here, we serve tens of thousands of people every single weekend. We also have a ministry called YouVersion, which is the Bible app. It is a ministry of Life.Church, and we founded it in 2008. Originally, the Bible app was one of the first free 200 apps of the Apple App. And that first weekend, we saw nearly 100,000 downloads, right? So we knew we were onto something. We had eventually created a second app called the Bible app for kids, and that was geared at a different audience, younger generation. Eventually, we realized, because of the global nature of it, we had to figure out how do we service areas of the world that are less connected or have less data, data-sized devices. So we create the Bible app Lite, which is already with the millions of downloads. It's only about 2 or 3 years old. Right. So to underscore our organizational DNA, we build technology as service of mission. Okay, so the through life, very different applications, right? Life.Church Online, our physical campuses, the Bible app, right? But one organizational conviction: technology should remove barriers, not create them. This isn't rooted in something deeper than strategy. This is rooted in something deeper than strategy. And it is that we will do anything short of sin to reach people who don't know Jesus. Okay. And that conviction ultimately is what led us to Magnolia, that technology is a ministry in our church, and we have to find tools that will help us serve that ministry. Okay, so why Magnolia? So let me define our operational reality that we encounter every single weekend at our church. And I hope when you look at this slide, you get a little anxious, get a little nervous, because there's a lot of people that walk through our doors, okay, that are trying to do very different things. And this is just one of 45 locations, about to be 46 locations, about to be 47 locations. Pretty soon we'll be at 50, 70, 100. And we have to figure out how do we meet each of those people right where they're at and serve them really well. Okay, so that's the context on the weekend. Now, the problem we're trying to solve is our previous infrastructure created dependency. Any content update required technical intervention. There's a lag when every digital interface has to serve as many as a dozen different audiences. And they have to find the time to navigate the tools and not serve the person. So again, just trying to highlight the complexity of what we found ourselves. And that's what led us to Magnolia. It allowed us the authoring experience. I think you guys all heard that term. I thought it was originally created by us, but apparently not. Apparently other people came up with it, right? But that was the deciding factor. It has to be something that a non-developer could use. It gave us the ability to set guardrails. That would become a gatekeeper, right? Content ownership could be distributed to the people who actually know the local context. They're the ones closest to the problem, and therefore, how do we empower them to solve it, right? Okay, but before I hand this over to Cody and let him share about the solutions that we developed, in that spirit of honor, I want to make sure that I honor the people that we chose to partner with, which ultimately was one of the deciding factors. So where's Flo? There's Flo. He's hiding out in the back. But Flo, when we chose Magnolia, we didn't know much about the product, but the ability to connect with Flo, the investment he made back in us for it. Sorry, like, oh well, sure, right? It was man, we're choosing a partner, just a vendor. And then our implementation partner, I don't know if Dow Fusion's still really on the scene, but at the time, Chris Briley did an incredible job helping us actually implement the tool. Chris Briley's my broker. I get him mixed up. Okay, so finally, we found ourselves asking this question, and this is the question I want us to sit on. Can the right person publish the right content at the right moment without waiting on us?
Yeah, so that question right there on the screen, locations had already answered it. We just found that they answered it without us. You see, at the locations, while we were trying to solve this centrally, at every one of the locations where the people were, they were solving it in their own way, right? Some of them were solving it via QR codes on the screen. This is how to connect with us at this location. Or some of them would use a tool called Linktree. You may have heard of Linktree, right? Others were a little bit more tech savvy. You put NFC chips so they might chairs, and this is how you get connected press. So we found ourselves building tools and building things where our locations weren't using the things that we were building now, but we're still trying to solve. We found 45 locations solving 45 different problems, 45 different ways. You're following me. And because of us, we had no visibility into what they were building. We had no way to track what they were building. Mostly had no way to support what they were building when they would come back to us and say, hey, we need help. So there was no data. There was nothing for us to come back with. And the important thing is that there's actually no single frictionless path for the end user to take a meaningful next step in what we want for them to have, right? So that's the problem. So let me talk to you about what we built. So you're looking at something that we call Life.Church now. And it's 3 entry points, but it's a single experience. And it's available on the seat back in front of you and in person, in audience. So imagine in your chairs right there, there's a seat back tag available for you. So you have a seat back tag. You can tap it or you can scan it. It's your choice. It works iOS, Android. If you have our app, you can use it right on the home screen. Open up the app, the location part comes up, and it brings you right into the experience. It's your local experience to where you are. Or you can do it directly via direct link. So you can have it text to you. It can be shared to you. It could be emailed in any other way. Whatever you want, it's available. So 3 experiences, but 1 entry point. We call this a seamless multi-platform experience. It doesn't matter the method that is brought to you. So for the 2 outside of the app entries, right? So the seatback tag or the direct links, it's the same experience whether or not you have the app, right? The browser just simply opens up. The operating system will take you to the page, and then it will actually invite you to download the app as well if you don't have it. But if you do have the app, universal linking will just take you directly to the page that you want. Again, it's the same experience. And so we want, whether or not you're deeply ingrained in our church or whether or not you're there for the first time, we want you to have that exact same experience. It doesn't matter where you come in. And what ended up happening is the strategic impact of this is this tool became both a content delivery tool, which was supposed to be. We found on the other side that it was an app acquisition tool that was running quietly every weekend in the background. We saw people kind of moving through, I'm new, I don't know anything, to I'm really now engaged because I came in through the web or I came in through this other experience, but now I downloaded the app and now I want more. Like, they were more engaged. So we talk about 45 locations, 12 states cross, and any multi-location organization knows is that to keep global standards while keeping the kind of local autonomy, the genuine feeling of being small and connected, that's the struggle, right? That's the pain that we're always fighting. So the question we have ourselves is, how do you hold both of these things? And for us, it kind of came between these two intersecting workspaces. And so Nick talked about it, right? We have this kind of centralized workspace there across the top, and it's our marketing teams, it's our communication teams, it's our central teams that's developing our content that needs to exist across all 45 locations. So we can build it once, we can push it out, and there's standards and there's all the things that you want at that level. But then you have this vertical workspace, which is the local campus. And so they get the horizontal, right? But it's hey, I'm your campus pastor. I'm the one that you're seeing on stage every weekend, and I want to connect with you. It's the events that's happening on the weekend, or it's the centralized next steps that's pulling in from the global team. And so what we found was that it was this horizontal and vertical intersection that meets that genuine feeling that people were missing in a large multi-location organization. And so what happened is the complexity, it was centralized and solved there, but the humanity was local. It was built locally at the church level. And so the cool thing about this is that this architecture, as we built it, it scales in two directions. So Nick talked about it. We could scale really infinitely for our ministry, for our locations. We have 45 today. We're going to go to 50. We'll go to 75. We have goals to hit 100. But nothing has to change from our architecture. It can scale infinitely. But it can also scale in depth, right? So through our ministries, what we call like men's ministry. You want to meet with a group of men, or a sports ministry. Every location is unique to what they want to provide for their community or what's popular in the community. So it can scale infinitely. And because of Magnolia, this two workspace architecture was just really built out of the box. We didn't have to write any code. We didn't have to change anything. We can scale deep through our ministries. We can scale wide through our locations. It is just built on top of what Magnolia built for us. The cross workspace references, these kind of page hierarchies that we're talking about, we'll try to go custom develop. But we knew this architecture was only as good as the people that could use it, which is why the authoring experience was that term again. It mattered more to us than really anything else. And so let me talk to you about why. Why did this matter so much? Just because for us, our authors were the people at the campuses. They didn't get into their roles to deal with technology. Most of them actually were kind of afraid of technology. They didn't know how to use it. And so we built this, and they took the roles because they wanted to be present with people. We built this in a way to empower them, and we had to build something that actually just disappeared in the background. They didn't have to think about the technology. So as you see in Magnolia, right, it's an in-editor experience. What they saw in editing experience is what the campus attendees saw every weekend. It's the same experience. It's a welcome here. It's the heading. It's the here's your event that's happening this weekend. So they were building out the weekend experience right there. But on the top, we built in, hey, here's your lifeline. Here's support. Here's copy paste templates that you just bring in. That's again, it's just choreographed content that you can bring in. Here's support documents. Here's run books for you.
Fody, let me, as creatures often can, we go over on time. So we're running a little bit short. Are you getting the time? We got 3 minutes.
3 minutes left. So, all right. Should I talk to you? I speed it up a little bit. All right. So, how easy is it to add content to the page? It's 3 clicks. Okay. I can do that in 3 minutes. I think so. You go to page. You add a component. You select a card. You hit save. That's 3 clicks. 3 clicks to put a meaningful next step in front of hundreds of thousands of people every weekend. And that's how we needed to make it so simple. So before we get to this,
Well, let's do this. Have you guys paid attention when QR codes have gone up on screen? And trust me, I know the irony in this because we're going to put QR codes on the screen here in a second. But have you guys watched The Room when people try and get you to engage with a QR code? Very, very few people do it. Or if you try, it's gone before you can get your camera out, right? Or you can't quite get it. And we just saw that in our church. We could not engage the audience. This is the process, right?
So yeah, what I was going to have you do, I was going to have you experience what we felt every weekend, right? It was that. It was people trying to scan a QR code and then it goes away. And what happens, right? You can't find it because they go fast and then you're looking for what it is. Or it's something up there that may be personal to you and you don't want anybody to know that that's what it was, right? And so that's the cost of a QR code. So the NFC chip that you just tap on the front of your chair is much more intimate. It's small. It's between you, but you can still connect with your location. I need prayer, or I need help, or I want to meet you. I'm new here.
Yeah.
So let me talk to you a little bit about the numbers, because sometimes it's about the numbers. So you have over here 6%. We said nothing or did nothing as we made it because of this. And out of the box, we got 6% conversion rate from the tools we were using before, simply by putting a sticker on the back of a chair. We'll walk through this a little bit quicker. The no phones out moment, 20%. That is just acknowledging the sticker on the back of the chair. It's there. Do it. Well, we talked about it a little bit more. We get to 21%. Hey, there's a sticker on the back of the chair. You can connect with me. Every step we talked about it to the phones out moment. Hey, I'm here. Connect with me. Take your phone. Let me show you how it works. Yeah, we got to 32%. 32% over 100,000 person weekend is about 30,000 people.
That's right. And if you just physically, right? Yes, physically. We love to say this. Every number has a name. Every name has a story. And every story matters to God. That's right. So that's why every number up there matters. Sure. More than just a percentage, but it's an actual person with a store.
You take it. So the numbers are the points, right? So behind every data point is that person. Because for us, when we launched this in December, is the most strategic, impactful month of our calendar year, Christmas. Christmas, we know that is the one time a year that if someone is going to go to church, it will be Christmas services, or the only time ever that they may go to Christmas services. So behind every data point is a person, someone who took a step that they may not have taken otherwise, is what this tool empowers. So Nick started us with this, right? Can the right person publish the right content, the right moment, without waiting on us? And for 45 locations, they can. This is what Magnolia empowered us to do. And this is what Life.Church now is. So,
and for record, we know that that's the old brand. We were way too late, but we'll get around next time.
Thank you so much.